They're coming soon. But why I invited...
It's also English is wrong. I cannot marry you. It's marry. It's marry.
Maybe this is joke, double meaning.
It just...
No? It's just misprint.
Or what does it say in Russian?
In Russian it's proper way, so yeah, it's a mistake in English. Funny.
I open the book and the first thing I find is a mistake.
Okay. So I want to use this 1 hour or a little bit more in a way that
Did you tell the others that you're here?
I will tell in a second. I will call. So
It's stressful.
it's always stress for everybody to do something, and maybe what we can start. Well, I had a friend, quite close friend, who was a traumatic story. I saw him yesterday on the street, and I recognized him, and he was one of traitor from my side. We had a long period of friendship, and then I realized that he's not my friend anymore. Quite dramatic story. No women were involved, even if she liked women which I rejected, so he became lovers of them very often because I was too picky. He wasn't so much, but the way how he behaved, he always tried to mock me or tried to be competitive in a creative sense, and I could not stand that. But why I'm mentioning him, because he also wanted to be a translator, and he translated a couple of her poems. So it's a bad translation of bad poem, but it will give you some ideas about this writing lady. So you can just read it and discuss only in English because you don't speak Russian, obviously. And
No, it's mine. It's mine, but in English. Do you understand?
Yeah, it's just a bit of an odd translation, because I would say it's to know.
Yeah, it's to knowledge.
Or to knowledge.
Yeah,
But that's-
to knowledge.
As in, this is a poem to knowledge. Because you wouldn't say that in English.
All my poems is to the
somebody.
mood, yeah, to me, to the mood, to knowledge.
Okay. Just using banal words.
In Russia, they're strange too.
Yeah.
In Russian languages, they poems strange too. No.
And the way, no, you should speak your own English, even if it's bad. And the way why I started from these poems is because we have this already fabulous and antique workshop with you, which was based on the poetry. And in a way, I consider you very poetic and very sensible to poetry. So talking about poetry, sense and words and verbalization and meanings and dance and improvisation, how could you put some accents? Or how could you start to explain these quite complicated ideas to very naive and very simple and very first comers? Because we just discussed that with your last workshop is very much specific in a way that most of the people were very, very first time. They were not so much experienced.
Well, yeah, but that's what I've been doing all weekend, teaching exactly what you're saying, but taking it back down to the sound.
Yeah, and we have also another woman who probably will be participating. Yeah, she's more professional actress in a way. So she was in the audience yesterday and she danced, and she was one of the most touched in a positive way by this experience. So you can explain what you thought about yesterday. What was
Straight
interesting?
in there.
Straight in that, yeah, in English.
Я так сразу зашла, и надо сразу по-английски.
Yes, please.
Is this,
Stress.
is this the
Stress
cafe?
day.
Yeah, stress
Stress
day for
day.
everyone.
It's very interesting for me because I want учить.
Learn.
I want to learn.
Ask her, yeah.
Yeah, I know just 5 words in English.
Она хорошо
Нет.
А ты так же плохо? I want to learn my body and my voice in на сцене.
In the
The stage?
Короче говоря, я просто хочу сказать, что я хочу изучать свое тело, свой голос.
she want to know her
Пробовать что-то
body,
новое.
her voice,
Пробовать новое для себя.
to learn something new and to do more better.
Yeah,
no,
to get better.
something else.
Ты дальше можешь переводить? Потому что я работаю
Because-
в академическом театре,
Because she works in the theater academy,
и мне интересно
And it
идти
is-
дальше вот, в каких-то рамках.
it is interesting to do in your way in this
Рамки.
to do interesting in your way. Окей. Новый путь, в общем,
Ну,
интересен.
да, да.
Потому что я английский также знаю, как ты.
Да,
Тоже.
но я просто только что пришла.
Да, я тоже только что пришла.
Thank you
That you.
very much.
You know, I have book, my book, special for you. Yeah.
In Russian language.
Sorry that it is Russian languages. Sorry that it's just Russian languages, but it's for you.
Thank you very much.
Книжка у тебя вышла, я видела.
Wow, cool.
А там рассказы, да?
Рассказ один.
Story and poem.
Oh, I don't know.
Wow, thank you very much. Well, I have to learn Russian.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, because when I come back,
Dima said that in this book you can learn Russian languages.
I've got my homework.
It's homework.
About
Dima don't like this book.
Okay.
He said
Dima
that
doesn't.
doesn't. Dima doesn't like this book. He said that it is very bad book in the world. Yeah, but it's Dima. It's normal.
But this
it's
is
okay.
you. This is you.
Yeah, it's my book.
You wrote it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that it's a good book.
As all writers, and also because you don't understand any Russian, for you it can be a good book also. You can have fantasies.
But in the performance, when I come back, I have to speak Russian.
Oh, wonderful! You have 1 month to.
No, I have 10 days.
It will be in 10 days.
Well, because the first performance is in Ekaterinburg,
Okay, and
The last-
here,
the last one
here,
is here.
and here when it will be
the 30th.
the 30th.
Yeah.
So we can
Laugh at me and my bad
laugh at you
Russian.
and your better Russian. Yeah. So, what did you discuss? Did you?
Just that she enjoyed the way I work because she wants to have new ways to work with her body and voice. I should say that in Russian. shouldn't I?
She,
Yeah, I translate this.
she's extremely sexual in sort of humid sexual way, and very combined shyness and provocative types of behavior. I didn't touch my actresses. It was one of the rules which I established. And talking about rules, many directors who use improvisation, they somehow use rules or corridors, right, for establishing certain, I would say, scales or limits for. So, can you, in very simple English, which is understandable for us, three of us, can you give, first of all, how you started to use rules, and then which kind of rules you usually prefer to use, besides safeness and besides
Yeah, well, the thing is, there's so many different rules. I can't.
generalize?
Because like each workshop depends on the people. And when we spoke before, you said about shadowing. We never even began to shadow in this workshop. So it's kind of for me with the body and the voice, it's breaking it down to specific. I work really much with limits. So you only can make one movement. You have to be still. With the voice, you split it up to vowels and consonants. So at the very beginning of the performance yesterday, it was simple score. One person makes sound, the other person move. If the sound moves you, and to only use consonants and vowels. And this way you can find out where in your body is the sound, and where from the sound do you find your body, and to start that as a basis.
Talking about story, I know that it's different level and different approach, but still, talking about story, did you improvise any story? How did you consider a story as an element of improvisation? Can you use all kind of sentences or text? How you use text actually in yesterday's performance? They were introduced by the mass like animation cartoons, or you gave some topics or themes?
No.
How it was accidentally?
Yeah, I actually told them that they shouldn't use words, and I tried to stop them. And also,
telepathically?
No. I told them all the way through the workshop. Don't use words. Don't ask each other. Don't talk to each other.
Why it was so seductive?
Without what?
Yeah.
Don't?
Why it is so? Only English, please. Why it's so seductive? Why it is so seductive?
Because people want to be understood. People want to. It's very, very hard to be on stage and be abstract. And especially Russian is so much, people love their words. Every Russian person I have spoken to, the language is really important. Whereas I come from a place to try and make the language abstract. So we find the stories are revealed by what we do.
So a story can be revealed not by words but by body,
action, by sound,
just
and voice, and not thinking. For me, oh, I want to say this, and I'm going to go on and say that. I go on stage first, and then I find out what I want to say. But because in the workshop there were many levels of experience, one woman, she only would speak poetry. But I liked that because it was clear, concrete poetry, and it wasn't cartoon. I didn't know until afterwards they were speaking cartoons. Winnie the Pooh. For me, I would have been, oh, why are they doing this? But it's because if you're on stage, you want to communicate and you want to feel that people...
And you want to have common language or reference,
the reference.
Common reference.
And the thing is, as beginners, it's having the trust that you by the end, the audience can find your language. And one member of the audience, one man, he felt that. He felt he was actually beginning to see a different language. And so there was some level of that happening. But we also have it's a tricky situation because also there is not so much experience in the audience. So the audience doesn't know how to watch abstract. Except there actually were quite a few people in the audience who knew what they were looking at, but many it was their first time.
Could you teach them? Could you teach her how to watch abstracts? I mean, what's kind of...
No, only by going to see.
Just by experience?
Yeah, because that's the only... With improvisation, you can only experience it. And the more you talk about it, sometimes the harder it is to see. So I started with very clear limits about trying to find the stillness and the silence, and to slowly build one by one gesture, one action, one sound.
How do you find this balance? For me, it's a crucial thing because I'm trying to direct a sort of play, even if it's based on our own material partly, but it's still a play with structure, with elements of events. But at the same time, I do understand that my main temptation and mission is give them freedom to fulfill this structure. And for example, before we discussed that actually you didn't expect that audience will be participating, and it was a surprise for you. I mean, it was misunderstanding on the level of words maybe, or maybe it was just a sort of energy. But anyway, you did not plan it, but you still did not stop it.
No.
So you had enough braveness not to interrupt the process, which wasn't even planned by you like this. So can you give us maybe some examples of how it's happened, these moments, then something going very wrong, how wrong it actually can be? I mean, because yesterday, in a couple of moments, it was almost psychotic for some people. So they stayed in the therapeutic group, it's okay. But in the open performance, it can be quite risky and double-edged, right? So is it a problem for you, this is first, and just creatively, then you realize that you have to change something? Because, for example, yesterday, you also changed once you cleaned the space.
I did it twice.
You twice cleaned the space.
For me, the way, when that was one way, because I was standing there thinking, the thing for me is that I like the fact that the audience joined in, but for me, the problem was, with it being such a big group of participants, that they would not get the experience because there were too many people on stage. And so it was a little bit like they did all the work, but then the audience got the pleasure. They got the moment which they've been working towards. But for me, this was also a weird situation because we had Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday performance with nothing during the day. And on the Sunday, in the morning, we had a filmmaker. He was like our biggest audience. And we had 4 small group structures. Each improvisation was like, we all couldn't believe it was like magic. And considering there were so many beginners, it really worked. So it's almost like my process finished then, because I'd been planting these seeds and these ideas, and slowly they grew, and then they bloomed. And then a pregnant woman broke her foot. Big disaster.
During the same day?
Yeah, in the workshop. In the improvisation, she slipped, she broke her foot, hospital, big drama. I was like, oh my god. And
was it more problematic in England if this happened?
No, but what I'm trying, let me finish. So then for me, I had 1 hour left. We knew this, and also she was heavily pregnant, so it was also like, it was all like big stress. And I was like, oh god, how do I keep this group? You know, how do I refine the group? And we had to push with this improvisation, and it wasn't happy. But the thing is, we'd had this situation of like going like this, and then it kind of came up like that, the energy, by the end of the day. And then 3 or 4 people left because they weren't from here, they left to go, so they were not part of the performance. So I lost 5 people. Pregnant woman, very good performer. So watching her, what she did, that wasn't there, gone. 3 other people that were in the group were gone. So then it was like yesterday, it was a new group, and the weaker performers started. Well, not apart from Dima, but and so it's also interesting when you set up something with not strong power. It's kind of makes the whole thing a bit strange, because the thing I found hard about yesterday, it was all very, for a long time there was no dynamic, but that floor is very slippery, so 2 times people tried to run in, and this is why the woman was in hospital. So it's like, it's a complex situation. So for me yesterday was difficult anyway. So when the audience started coming and getting involved, I thought, okay, this is just part of the process. Actually, I'm happy, because I would rather the audience wanted to join in there than
run
walk
away
out the door.
Yes, please.
Is this too much? Can you understand anything?
I understand you.
Okay, cool.
Okay. I have a question. How you find people? You have something rules to walk. You can walk in all people,
Yeah.
or you have something rules.
An admission process.
No,
And how you
я
choose, how,
может иметь, да.
and no, speak only English. So
How you
how do
can
you
choose
make your
people?
choice?
What, from like when you
Maybe-
make an advertising? You mean?
Sorry?
You mean that? You mean,
Sorry, it's quite yeah.
You mean that level of like the people? How do you attract
How
people
you
to come
can-
to your workshop? Do you mean that? Or
No.
what do you mean?
How you find people? Maybe you can walks with all people, or you or
Or you need special requirements,
or
special
есть или не, есть некоторые люди, с которыми
only
вы не
English
можете.
person. Okay, so is it a
Or you
question?
have something people,
Some people
with you cannot walk.
with whom you cannot walk at all. And maybe
Or-
you can
or you
mention
can-
also this story about blindness and
Or you
Steve
can
Paxton and
walk
all that.
in all people.
Well, I try to work with all people, but not all people can improvise.
Okay.
You know, like
It's logic.
it's a shame because you were not there yesterday. but the Dima, the man, he, for me,
Old.
older, yeah.
Older.
Sometimes he was too much. And
Who's
he,
it?
Nepal.
I like him very much, but
Nepal,
he's so obsessively psychotic.
Yeah.
I mean, I like him. For me, he's one of the most interesting personages.
Yes,
but
and
it's more like psychodrama. It's his own
Yes,
insaneness.
yeah, but that's the thing. He wouldn't work with the group. He was always him, and he took pleasure in disregarding the group. Whereas, but this is also very Russian for me. People like to be part of a group,
Collective culture.
collective culture, totally, or complete individual.
Could you order for us a cup of kettle of tea?
I don't want.
You don't want to? You could just offer for us.
I haven't.
You don't have the money? Okay.
Yeah. Ты странно делаешь.
Any questions?
But it's also interesting for me who is attracted to do this, because I found the group I was working with really interesting people, all very different experience. One actor, one dancer, one I don't know what.
Sina.
Yeah, you know, it's like, and this is the first time for a long time we talked about philosophy, psychology, personality, life, the universe, and everything. And everyone was saying, "Oh, but this is St. Petersburg." But I thought, yes and no. But this is not always true.
Are you saying that it's less possible in England or some other countries?
No. There's just different. It's possible anywhere. I think some cultures are more open to improvisation.
Such as?
I can't think. I don't really think in those terms, so it's hard for me. But I think for me, because I have worked in different countries, it's trying to find the way to improvise, so to how we create communication where people feel comfortable, and why I don't work with text unless we worked with text. We already knew the poem. Because I feel, for me, I'm just all over the place at the moment, sorry. For me, I feel sad that I don't speak Russian, because I can't help people with their words. And like yesterday's group, many people wanted to speak, and there is many things you can do with the body and actual words, but you need to understand what the words are. So staying in the abstract, it's still a language, you still communicate with each other, but you don't have to worry about actual meaning, of that word. The meaning comes through what you make up. And we might not understand, if I'm going, and you go, who knows? But the audience can make their own story of what we're saying.
Please interact with us.
I can get a tea.
No. It's your exam.
In
Your
English,
English
please.
exam. Yeah.
Dima said in English, please.
In your country, you with actors,
Dancers.
what
Dancers.
Dance.
I have worked with that.
With actor, you make performer.
Yeah, I have a degree in theatre. My background is theatre. So but I have tended to.
And you interesting with actor and all people.
All people, yeah. But, I mean, what I find is it's interesting, the relationship between acting and improvisation, because I don't work with character, I work with people. So whatever you did yesterday was you. You were not being a character. And this is something sometimes
Quite strange for actresses, because this is what I also offer them to do. And it's a huge conflict, because as we discussed, and it was maybe the most interesting conversation with you, 5 minutes of interesting conversation with Caroline, that you mentioned that many dancers or even actors, they try to run from themselves. They try to hide their real personality. They cannot stand themselves. If you understand what I mean. If not, you're unlucky.
Не совсем я уловила, но
Such a
ладно.
mean person.
Может быть, неправильно.
Now 2 other girls are coming, so you
Dima,
will fight.
Dima cannot walk, does not walk. Dima does not walk with everyone. Doesn't walk. Just избранные
Selected.
girls.
Yeah, I mean that is a
Guys.
luxury. That is a luxury.
Yeah.
Other questions? Try to. I mean, express your feelings about this. How did you feel yourself on the stage? And first of all, how do you understand that you're on the stage? Now, are you on the stage or not? Where's the borderline between the stage and non-stage?
I don't know stage. Translate me, please.
Stage is a place for actors in the
Сцена,
theater.
наверное.
Stage is the place for actors. Repeat please your question.
How do you understand that you on the stage? Where is stage for you? How do you understand borderlines, lines, which disconnect? Which can you help me? Can you simplify my too complicated English?
Как ты понимаешь сцену?
Я это
No
поняла.
Russian. Give it a chance.
Про какая... про-
Please,
You
please,
can
in
speak
Russia.
Russian. You
Please,
can speak-
in
you can
Russia.
speak Russian.
Please,
Your Russian
in
is
Russia,
fine.
Caroline, okay? Just Russian languages.
Hello, what did say?
Я понимаю сцену какую? Свою?
Наверное, как ты понимаешь для себя сцену? Во всяком случае,
он
что для
меня
тебя,
спросил?
да, что для тебя сцена, что для тебя ощущение на сцене. Я так поняла вопрос. Может
Ну
быть,
вот
он
я
имел
тоже не
что-то.
так могу быть. Maybe
We
I...
don't understand Dima in Russia. When Dima speak in Russia, it's crazy.
It's very
word.
clever.
Yeah, we cannot understand.
Well, I think I understand. He's saying, when do you know that you are performing? When is it just for you when you go on stage,
Yeah.
or is like now? Are we performing? What is the borderline? Could this be stage? Or like when I say performing, I go like this.
Вот for me stage.
Yeah. When are you? What is the borderline? Are you only performing on stage, or do you perform in live? Hello.
Do you think we can do this?
Которые говорят по-английски лучше, чем я сама. Может мне тогда пересесть?
Doesn't matter. No, you can sit here. Don't worry. It's okay.
Sergey,
Меня спрашивают про вчера или вообще?
вот я тоже думала, вчера
Caroline, we have a strange and stupid title of our production. It's called A Fairy Game.
Fairy game
Fairy Game.
or ferry,
Fairy.
as in ferry, because it's all the people sleeping in one bed.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. What is
It's
for you
more
a fairy?
like
If you-
symphony jazz with a
It's a
band.
boat that takes you across the channel.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. So we have two, as you see, they look like, they pretend that they're very sex appeal and talented and very specific.
Do you speak English?
Not me.
A little bit. It's horrible humour.
Yeah, yes.
Horrible.
Every his speech begins from
Sex.
no.
Every time.
It's only with you. It's
Yeah,
Caroline.
yeah,
Caroline.
it's
It's Caroline. It's only with
sex.
you.
and you are terrible actress. You're terrible actress. You are not but you are rather interesting.
interesting and very sexy,
Don't be so
but not very much.
Don't
it's
shout.
true.
Okay, we can bother other people here. So please, we have two other participants. Give us your experience of yesterday's performance. What did you see? Why you participated? And ask any questions. Today we have this unique opportunity to torture this wonderful, fragile lady.
Только в телефоне.
Half an hour
Я не
more.
знаю.
I asked you to read about viewpoints, but you didn't do that, of course.
It's okay if you didn't like it. It's no problem for me if it's horrible. It's cool. I don't mind.
I have different feelings, and one of the main associations of all of that was that this all this show was similar like brain, and every people is missing.
I don't know.
Mind.
And every people
Maybe
is
thoughts.
in mind.
Maybe thoughts.
Thought, bad thought, strange thought, that thought that don't help you and you want to throw it. And every people was, for me it was the main association of this, all of this. And I have a lot of questions about people who are they and why they want to
Why they paid so much money?
no, why one they want to participate because I think please.
No, I give it to all of you. If they would pay me, I will bring them to Oslo almost.
Because I think everybody have its own motivation and it's also interesting and I want to know.
Well, I think I don't know actually the individual motivation of why they were there. But the invitation was to explore the idea of performance. So I presume the people who came wanted to communicate something or work on communicating their ideas. I mean, it's that simple. But for me, it was very chaotic yesterday.
What?
Chaotic, chaos. It was a big chaos.
Chaos. Big chaos. What does it mean?
It sounds like what? Chaos. Or something. Can you explain what does mean chaos?
House.
Yeah.
House. Chaos.
Because there were many people, so you could not see the ideas. You could just see it.
But I think sometimes the idea appears, but
Then it
for
goes.
seconds.
Yeah, because often many people, this was their first time on stage, and it's very usual to be very quick with your ideas because it's hard to stay and let something develop, especially when you have people watching you. So yesterday I saw and also such a big group. Everybody wants to go. Most of my time I'm going stop and try to make space.
There are a lot of moments then everybody wants to be a leader, and
Like you now in this time.
Like
Like
Dima,
Dima.
like Dima all time.
Yeah, and that's the training.
If Dima don't speak 5 minutes or
Dima
three-
does not.
if Dima does not speak 3 minutes, it's problem. Big problem.
It's a big problem.
Now they will
Okay, don't
complain,
worry, please.
complain
Okay, don't
about
worry,
me.
please.
They have a legal hour of complaining. What about you?
Okay.
You felt you wanted to vomit.
What?
To vomit, vomiting.
You wanted to be sick.
You were sick. You wanted
Sick,
to vomit.
I don't know what
The,
Oh yes, I don't understand this training, but it is not because it's not interesting for me. It's just
because you're stupid? No?
no. This is the chore.
I'm not.
Because of people who work in this, they often they don't understand what are they doing. So it is not was from inside. It was just I don't know what I'm doing now and why I do this.
How do you understand the difference between inside and outside? How do you feel it?
I can see this. I don't know how
Everybody can see, but how can you explain it in words?
plain it works.
Now they are broadcasting to London, and all people in London would like to know about the difference between inside and outside. People wrote books about it. So.
Then it goes from inside. You understand why you do this, and
What are you talking now? Is it from inside or from outside?
it's my opinion, and
Is it from inside?
it's from inside, yes.
But what if we don't think that? What if other people don't think that it's from inside? What if audience in this cafe think that it's
Okay,
just
I know it's provocation.
Yeah.
I know this.
for Caroline?
But,
It's your payment for your interview.
for everybody.
No, it's only for Caroline.
I think if it will be if they will have more time maybe and no меньше как less people, yes, it's maybe more interesting, so it will be house
House.
and sometimes it will be a little story, a little situation. I think this is idea, and I had a question. Dima told all time, so I am old school, academical, so boring people, and so because I had a
Are you
question.
asking me? I still think the same.
No,
you can ask Caroline. Maybe
you
she
say-
has,
you
maybe
say it
Caroline
all.
has a different idea.
I don't understand what you say. Okay.
Maybe she has different idea.
Okay, and my question is for this type of art important theatrical background, theatrical professional background or not, or maybe it's not. It's bad.
She's asking, did she waste 5 years of her life or not?
No, I think I agree with you. And for me, because we had very little time, we had 2 evenings and 2 days, and that's it. Well, even on yesterday, because of the accident, we had less time. So, very short, for the group, for a very short time, I think they did well. But for me, the people I wanted to stop were the ones with no training. The guy with the hair, the slightly, get off, you're not interested. He was like, yes, I can be like a small bear. It's like, yes, enough, and go. But and the woman in blue, she was always wandering around, like looking lost. I again want her to go, get off. But other people in the group liked watching her. They liked to see her going, and for me, it's not interesting. But this is, I already said, in the workshop, we worked in small groups. And in small groups, they did some very good things. But in the big group, and then with the audience, more and more and more. You know, it was not my plan.
Yes, it's just experiment, yeah, and he can, it can do or как это получилось?
Work or not work?
I don't speak Russian, sorry.
Скажи, пожалуйста, как это получилось по-английски? It can work, yes, or not work, and we don't know what will be next time here.
I think that it's just a beginning of the big process for everybody in this group.
Because it was a surprise for me on Sunday. They did such good improvisations. It's like this understanding or awareness was there. Yesterday, then yesterday there were people. The day before it was just a camera and one person. So always when there is an audience, something different happens, or people either get too much or too little.
Yes, yes, I saw it. So they
Intention.
they have more intention for us, for audience, and they don't do his or her work, so they play for us sometime. But it's естественно.
It's natural.
Natural.
It's natural, yeah. For people,
And also,
we do this.
yeah, and also for me, I said at the very beginning to not go into words and what was it? Well, the good thing about yesterday's performance is that many things that I had said don't do, they did it, and now they understand why I said don't do it. But it's now after the performance.
Oh, it's experiment, really.
And I want to say some words about improvisation. I thought about it, and I think
You
that
thought about it. Okay.
I think that good improvisation is like a wonder, even in usual life, because even in usual life it's difficult to improvise, and people and bad. For example, in the meeting of boy and girl, the improvisation was bad, and the relationship will not. Yes, and
If you want to know about broken relationships, she's the right person to ask.
please. And what is it's very difficult to explain what is good improvisation. For me, it's like a wonder. Very many factors. Good improvisation is like good meeting. It's flesh. It's your dress.
And
it's
bone.
morning. It's smell. It's the atmosphere. Everything is very important. And I don't know. I don't know from what bricks the good improvisation
Consist on.
Consist.
Because I like you.
Because he wants.
Could
I
explain
want you. I don't want
your
her. Just to talk to me.
opinion?
Well, I think it's the hardest thing to actually try to describe good improvisation, because it's all personal opinion. That's what I just said. Some things I don't like, other people like, and I'm like, oh, for me it's not good improvisation, but for somebody else it was. What do you want me to? What are you asking me though? What do I think is good improvisation? Or
Yes, because in some moments, even yesterday, I feel something and seconds, and I watch to
the audience, the audience.
and everybody was for these seconds. Everybody, it's like a wonder, and then this seconds ends, and everybody.
Yeah,
And
no.
I don't know how to explain. It's something in the air.
Yeah, no, it's communication, isn't it? You're communicating something. You're doing something that people are interested in, and it brings your attention.
Do you introduce idea of proposal somehow for the participants? Do you use any terms in any way?
Like you're making an invitation,
Yeah.
or you're making a
Yeah.
proposal, or
Yeah.
you're making an intervention, or I say that. I mean, the thing is, I've been working more like saying creating images. So one person goes in to create an image, someone else joins the image. So you join the picture, and it's when people. You don't have to do the same thing though to be in the picture. I mean, these are two bits of material that are very different, but they're all still in the same picture. You can make your decision about how it might be more successful for you.
I always sometimes try to explain something for them using very simple objects on the table, but it didn't help.
I don't know.
But you get
Remember
this.
this way.
You didn't remember?
It was in the Visionary.
But also, for me, it's about composition, art, the relationship between music, dance, theatre, everything, words. It's the composition, how it is seen, how it is put together. And I think when something works, somehow it compositionally works as well, and that brings you into it.
Composition, rhythm, yes?
Yeah, it can be rhythm, but like yesterday there was very little big group composition. They lost their awareness of making pictures. Only at times when I said like end, they suddenly would find a stillness in a composition that was quite interesting, but not when they were free.
Do you use sometimes term ugliness or something which is taboo? I mean, what cannot be in the performance? What cannot be in the stage? Masturbation or
I think anything can
sex?
be.
It depends on what.
It
How do
depends-
you create these limits? What is?
It depends on the context.
How do you establish this context? Is it just your taste? Is it
my
question
question.
of? It's your question. Sorry,
Yeah.
it was her question. Is it your taste?
What?
Ask her question again.
Dima said my question.
The question about context. How do you? Was it
Я
only
просто
taste?
задавала такой же вопрос, только проще.
Was it your own perception? Was it sort of goal
Well, no,
or
but I mean,
idea?
so like yesterday, the context of the studio was very restrictive because the floor was too slippery. So there are many things that couldn't happen because it was too dangerous. So that is a very clear context
Physical.
that some things can't work. There are other contexts of. I honestly think almost anything can happen on stage. I have no taboos.
But how to be about safeness? How do you establish safeness of process, psychological safeness of participants?
Well, I mean, I've got no guarantee. I mean, all I can, it's, for me, I'm not like you at all. I don't humiliate people, I don't make jokes, I don't criticise people. I try to build their confidence.
This is why you are paid. I know.
Yeah. See? And many people said to me that they liked my work because I'm soft and I'm not. It's still discipline, but because for me, improvisation cannot be wrong because it's improvisation. So it's just that things can be different, and you can shape things or make things for you feel better. But it doesn't mean to say, you know, like yesterday was not wrong. There were so many good things that happened, and there were some things that were not so good. But it wasn't wrong, you know. Whereas, mind you, I've said that on Sunday for the first time ever, I did actually stop improvisations because I was trying to get people to work in a very specific way, to split music from action.
What?
To split. Split. Like this is together, this is split. So this is most of the time music and dance together. I was trying to split it, either have music or have action. So you can start with music and then action happens. Action stops, music carries on. They couldn't do it. It was incredible. Just this simple thing, action and then sound. And they kept going together. I kept going, right, start again.
Because of inertia? Because of that seductiveness of synchronizing between...
I think in culture, music, people think you can only dance to music. They forget that we move without any music. And it's that simple. But it was extraordinary to me that they could not split it. So I was going stop, which is not my way normally, but we had not very much time. It's like, no, you got it wrong. But also for me with language, I didn't know if people understood the instruction because it wasn't working. So it's a complicated situation.
Complicated job. We have too much silence from this side.
And also in the big group, you know, like because I did not understand the language, I did not know that they were using nursery rhymes. Because for me, I would have said, stop.
Why?
What are you doing?
Why?
Because I'd spent all my time to work with sound, not words. I was saying, don't speak to each other, don't ask questions, don't use words.
Well, you're just too soft. You have to humiliate people sometimes, shout at them.
But this is, for me, what happens when you have an audience. Things change when you then have somebody watching you. You know, because it's very, very hard to sit there going, I mean, you know, you just feel an idiot. And you have to go through that, possibly.
I feel myself idiot anyway. So what about silence from this side? How much do you understand?
Тишина.
Почему тишина с той стороны?
Почему тишина с моей стороны? Потому что because I listen
And enjoy.
Caroline and girls.
Yeah.
I very bad speak English. I very bad pronunciation. I learn.
She also has accent. Her English isn't so good.
I learn English
Right now.
right now.
Good.
Thank you.
You are welcome. So, Caroline, if you would consider these people on the stage, can you give them some hints or ideas or images to work with? Or hints? Hints? No. What is hint?
Образы. Нет?
Do you know this word?
Yeah, suggestion.
She knows all words.
Поддержка. Поддержка.
No, hints. Hints. It's when somebody...
Слушай, объясни
just
просто.
hints.
Какой толк в том, что мы не понимаем?
I want you to be more...
Мы погружались в английский,
И
чтобы
что
мы
как мы погрузимся
как будто мы в
в то, что
англоязычной стране, нам никто не поможет. Ой, sorry.
Hints.
Hints, okay.
Now at least you can use...
Okay, hints. It's
So
very...
anyway, give them some... your first impressions from them maybe, if it makes sense for you. just
You
your
don't
first
understand.
impressions.
Him. Does he understand
What he's saying.
себя? Ну, как
Sometimes.
это он-
Herself.
herself.
Himself.
Does he understand
But
herself?
it's a straight. But what is the context?
Anything, any context. Just if you just meet with people here in this cafe,
Такого нет слова.
and you'd like to give them some material to work with, for example, for
He wants
for some
to say,
homework.
give please advice.
Not advice, just give some feedback. I mean, you talked to
Advice.
them for half an hour already, right?
Yeah.
You noticed or observed something.
Совет,
There is
advice
It's here.
to girls.
no.
Yeah?
Association.
Yeah, it's more association.
Advice. Ну что?
Just give me
Нет, не
vocabulary.
совет. Не совет, ты не про совет говоришь. Not
Speak
advice,
English.
and
Он
understand.
не скажет, Дим, в этом толка никакого нет, понимаешь?
I just want to
Посидим
find
и
this
не будем
So,
знать.
what can they do in order to be better improvisers?
Yeah, advice.
Oh, advice also, yeah.
Yeah, yes.
We will finish in 15 minutes of your supper, don't worry.
He's very.
Bad director.
No. He's funny man. He's very funny man.
So
yeah.
I want you to share some of your feedback, which they can use somehow.
It's
maybe
very
very
hard
soft.
English. It's very hard English for everyone.
Направление.
Это очень тяжелый английский. для
I know
всех.
that you didn't work with them, but I'm not asking you to offer them something very difficult, but just give them some maps to explore this world of improvisation. Because I didn't have time and opportunity to find better improvisers, so unfortunately I have to work with these people. And they didn't have money. I originally invited all of them to a workshop, but they didn't have money. They have money only for me, hopefully. So for tickets to Oslo. So give them some ideas how they can make first steps, maybe according to your first impression from them.
Advice. Yes.
No responsibility. It's just a. I know it's strange for you to think this way, but
It's impossible because you're asking. You're asking for something that I don't do.
well, you don't do it. Okay, let's do something else.
Well, I mean, it's kind of,
It's not obligation.
I suppose.
Or maybe not to do. Maybe you can prohibit something, but you don't prohibit also. Okay, this is the problem.
No, I do. I decide I do.
Because the fact is that these people, they far away from improvisation, even classical improvisation.
But they seem to by their speaking, they seem to understand.
Because I tried to explain that for 1 month to them, unsuccessfully.
I don't know your name. I'm sorry.
Anna.
You've got theatre training, have you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she was watching yesterday with theatre eyes,
Yeah.
which is
Her theatre eyes is quite nice. I like them.
What? No, I didn't see.
she understands the idea of being on stage and being aware of the audience.
Okay,
being aware
please
of
careful. Listen.
And it's because you were frustrated by seeing people that didn't know what they were doing.
I didn't understand. I didn't understand what they do.
So to be understandable, to be clear, to be aware of each other and the things that you have to do. I mean, it sounds pretty shit, really.
Pretty shit. It sounds good. Yeah. What about this tall and high level?
She seems to have a great idea of understanding about improvisation.
Yeah, I suffered a lot with her. But unfortunately, I think I will even more.
I mean, the thing is, it's the magic of communication between people, isn't it? It's like, how can you really describe that? It's just about being open to try things out. I suppose my big feedback would be to be not scared to fail. You know, like yesterday, in some ways, you might not want to get up because you feel stupid or that it's wrong. I would just like encourage you to try. You guys did try. You came up and you didn't worry about making a mistake. You know, you found your way. I mean, that's very interesting. That you felt comfortable enough to get up and go forward. I mean, not everyone in the audience can do that.
Writers?
I mean, for me, I think it's about having to go through the obvious to find something different. Like to go through
Cliche.
cliche to find what is the other side. Because a cliche works on many levels. Because it's about something that is true, but it's one thing, and there's many more. Like if we had more time, we would get deeper and deeper into material and find something maybe interesting to tell, but we stay very much on the surface.
This silent lady.
She was asking me questions before you.
Oh, before my birth. Yeah. Okay. Any questions? Ladies and gentlemen.
You're so mean making us speak in English. I'm sure you've got questions, but they'd be in Russian.
No. But unfortunate transition.
I have a question. If all our life is improvisation, where is the transition between improvisation in our life and between improvisation on the stage?
I think the only difference is that you're creating a different context for it. So when you're in life, you're just living your life. But when you say, right now, at this time, I'm going to ask you to come and watch me do something, then that's a different place for improvisation.
I think that I seen for example, in yesterday, there were more funny moments than tragic. And could the improvisation be tragic?
Very tragic, yeah.
Yes.
I think that this story about this Nepal guy was very tragic. The lonely, psychotic man looking for homosexual relationship with others.
What about you?
It's not about me. About me, it's
Really?
different. About me, it was a different story. But I mean, sometimes what look funny, what look comedy from the first glance, from the first opinion, if you go
don't
deeper,
know.
you understand that
But
this is tragic.
this for me, this was what I was not happy with yesterday, because people went to humour,
Yes.
and it's quick and easy, and it's like, and you know the audience is going to go, oh, I love you,
Yes.
you love me, you've gone like this, as opposed to risk something different. And I keep saying, we had these small group improvisations the day before. The first one was very, very, very funny, really funny. But funny, the surprise funny. It wasn't like yesterday making a joke with the audience. And it was like, okay, how do you now have a new improvisation and not worry about being funny? And the next group was actually very sad and poetic. And it was like, this is what you're saying. The way the improvisation happened, they made those walls look beautiful. I mean, that is an ugly space. Yet in this fragile, quiet improvisation that happened, it was really beautiful and strangely moving and quiet. And then the next time, it was like incredible that we did manage to get this range of emotion but it was small groups. And the biggest problem for me yesterday, there were too many people. Always too many people.
I understand.
Because of that, we have only three people on the boat.
On the boat.
You have told that good improvisation.
She never asked me any questions when I walked around.
Будет условно.
Relatively, I think.
Relatively. Как бы, что хорошая импровизация имеет в виду условно.
In English, please.
Well, let's say that so-called.
So-called good improvisation is like an art. And is it important
This is what goes. Keep it. It's like,
the image of people? For example, the color of their hair.
Yeah.
Because in art, their colors and their forms is very important. And
like visual, you mean? Visual. Part of it.
visual.
Well, yeah, no, it is, but we didn't have any time. You know, and normally in these situations, people just wear colour, the same colour, or it's like there's
Black? No?
black is a bit too formal, too.
Confused maybe.
Well, I mean, the hardest thing for improvisation is to know what to wear. And we did not once discuss it in the workshop because there were so many other things going on. But also, I wanted people to be relaxed about performing because for many people it was their first time. But are you going to come and see my performance? It's free in St. Petersburg.
When?
On the 30th of June.
With great pleasure.
We had a diploma.
We will try, and with great pleasure.
It's at 6 o'clock, so it's maybe a difficult time.
Можно немножко, можно не
Right,
понравится.
I don't remember, right.
Thank
Because
you.
there we have costume, we have lights, we have a set, we have ideas. It's an improvisation. There's just two of us.
And maybe we will be lucky, so we can invite you for our rehearsal.
Oh, it will be great.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be easier for me to give you.
Real feedback.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that we can pay you, but see,
You know that I don't always work for money.
I know this is your problem.
I spent most of my life working for nobody. So this is probably an interesting situation. Oh, I've been paid. Okay, thank you very much.
I had a question.
Yeah.
In your improvisation are free or you give to people some exercise?
Exercises.
You,
Usually very clear rules.
and how it как это происходит? Дим,
What kind of rules?
what ну какого рода?
Какие упражнения?
Да.
What
What kind of exercise for people, and it's personal exercise for these people, this, and in this exercise they are meeting in the space or not?
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, the very first bits of the performance, it was very clear. Two people, one person making sound,
Yes.
the other person moving.
Yes.
So that the sounds had to be either consonants or vowels, and you have to just find some gesture. That's clear.
Yeah.
So that's a very simple beginning.
Yes, it's simple, and this part I understand, but then many people and one do this, another just
Yeah, yeah. For the next one, they had 5 pictures, 5 images that they only moved with those. So it's trying to restrict to then find new relationships.
okay.
So I work a lot with restriction, so making very, very tight rules, seeing how you respond to those rules, and then somebody else in those rules, and then gradually let them go.
And I think these rules makes the context.
Yeah, that's one context.
Okay, can I give now the rules? So this part of the table keeps silence for 3 minutes.
Okay.
Please, and then we will finish.
I don't like this.
Not like one?
Don't like these rules.
Don't like.
Rebel.
Rebel. Be rebellion.
So,
You don't know what is rebellion is. Rebel. You wanna say or ask something? No, no,
3
no, no.
минуты каждому на слово.
No, I'm just saying that maybe you have, if you did not talk enough, you can use abstract voices. Like, no, you can ask whatever you want to. It's okay that you speak not as good as they speak. Maybe you cook better.
Ну, ты можешь задать вопрос, да. Ты можешь так сказать.
Because I already offered them many English speakers. So
Я
whoever
поняла,
wants
что
to,
они получше меня все делают.
not everything, just speaking. Okay, so please, we have 10 more minutes. With,
10?
yeah.
10 minutes?
Oh my god, I had a question.
So,
Thank you. For me, it's very interesting. My actress work, for my actress work, it's very interesting. It's very обогатило.
Ой, ты
Enriching.
Reaching, потому что это туповатое.
Because I already
I'm stupid.
did that with you for many times. You rejected my help all the time.
Давай.
Okay.
I want just
To participate.
I want to participate your performance. I want learn. Короче, это сам поработать.
Well, at least you can be in touch on Facebook and via email, right?
She wants
It's okay.
to walk with you.
Yes. It's very interesting.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any final comments? Well, from official part at least. Later, if you want to stay here and eat chocolates, you can. Yeah, please.
Why and where from these phrases of people? So from why they tell these phrases? So it was from Winnie Pooh or from Mikhalich and the apple.
Говорила, она же отвечала на это.
It's just
вас
that's what
не
they
было.
said. There was no instruction.
It's their idea, yes. They can tell everything, yes. Okay.
But
But I did say I had, because the theme of the workshop was supposedly voice and movement. I said try not to use words. But for me, the whole thing was strange. My lovely organisers, really lovely people. He was the one who said, "Oh, we want music and voice." I said, "Okay, fine, we can work with musicians." And on the first day, the musicians didn't bring their instruments. And I was like, "Well, why have you brought me all the way from England to work with sound and music and action, and then you don't bring your instruments?" So for me, it was always a confusion because there's many things you can do, but because we've already started, it was hard then to bring the music to the same level because we were.
in the process
But
already.
then, this is the thing, the disappointment for me about yesterday was they couldn't stay abstract. They had to come out with these phrases, but being English, I didn't understand what they were saying. I could understand that the audience could understand, and I thought, okay. But for me, I had no idea. And as I said, I think it's a bit of a shame that because it just became comedy then. It just became the next laugh, the next. It was hard to create a serious. Or it became too crazy, like nearer the end when they started swinging each other around. It's lack of awareness, and like for me, I thought, oh no, now we're getting dangerous because there was this tension somewhere. So I know it's a long answer to your question, but apart from the tall woman, she always would speak poetry. For me, that was fine. She was very clear that it was poetry, and she wasn't trying to be funny.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
I find her a very interesting performer. I liked what she did. She was very uncomfortable with what we were doing. I know it was not her. It was not easy, but I found her very, very interesting.
And maybe my last question: what do you think about flow? Like, is it important, Tom, for you how people can feel it, how people can change their mind to this feeling? Because one of the main problem, flow, not in terms of floor, but the flow, like fluency, flow. Yeah.
I don't understand you.
I also, you see, I mispronounced English words.
What does mean the word flow except the...
It's not flow, it's flow. Yeah, it's
Flow of the river, flow.
flow of the
I
river.
understand. А что это? Что это? Течение.
How can you keep it during the process?
How can you keep it in the process? Well, I keep it on doing. But I don't know that. But the other question is actually how do you change the flow? Because yesterday the flow was happening in a way that needed something, so it needed to be changed. There was a flow.
So you only can interrupt it, and then I will do it. I interrupt our flow for the moment.